A great day. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Marianne Haverhill, the co-chair of this committee, Livable and Sustainable Communities Committee for the Valley Economic Alliance. And I'm glad that you all been able to join us. I do want to mention that I have to leave today about 10:30 for another meeting. This is just one of those days. Sonia and I were on a call earlier for the Community Foundation of the Valleys. Now this one, and then it's just one of those days. So at any rate, I apologize about that, but I think I have something to say early in the meeting. So at any rate, with that being said, welcome again to all of you. How do you want to do the self-introductions today, Sonia, in terms of our time? Because you know better as far as the presentations to be given.
Oh, sure. We do have time today, so I'll just quickly here show the agenda so folks can kind of know where we're heading, and then I'll go ahead and go around the Zoom room here and see if we can quickly meet each other. And what we'll do is we'll just do our name and our affiliation so that we can keep this moving quickly. So I'll take this off sharing so we can see each other's faces. And how about we go to Hilda next? Oh, by the way, I'm Sonia Blake and I run the Valley Economic Alliance, and I'm thrilled with the work of this Livable and Sustainable Communities Committee, really focusing on housing and transportation and healthcare and all these different quality of life aspects that make the Valley such a great place to live, work, play, and learn. And thank you to Marianne, our co-chair, and thank you to one of our soon-to-be co-chairs, Hilda Huckabee. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself? Welcome, Hilda.
Hi, thank you. Hilda Huckabee. I'm the owner of Waste End Environmental Consultation Company. I'm glad to be able to join, and hopefully I can be of assistance to collaborate, and looking forward to it.
Wonderful, Hilda. And Joshua. Hello, Joshua. Great to see you.
Great to see you too, Sonia. My name is Joshua Rouse. I'm the CEO of All Green Health and Lotus Solutions.
Great. Welcome. And Sarah.
Hi, everybody. I'm the acting director of the Institute for Sustainability at CSUN. Happy to be here and see how CSUN can partner with local community.
Beautiful. Welcome, Councilmember Takahashi.
Hi, good morning. Tamala Takahashi, Burbank City Council.
Welcome. And Fred Gaines. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fred Gaines. I'm the chairman of the board of the Valley Economic Alliance, and I'm a land use attorney with Gaines and Stacy in Woodland Hills.
Wonderful. Great to see you as always. And Dan Blake. Good morning.
Good morning. Dan Blake, retired urban economics professor from Cal State Northridge and recent director of San Fernando Valley Economic Research Center.
Beautiful, Dan. Thanks for everything you've done for the Alliance. And Louise. Hello, Louise.
Hi, I'm Louise Oliver. I'm Regional Operations Officer for Goodwill in Panorama City. I'm also a board member of Century Housing, which finances affordable housing. And I'm a board member of Shelter Partnership and Salvation Army, all concerned with homelessness.
Thank you for everything you do with the Alliance, Louise. Greg, welcome.
Hi, everyone. So happy to join this meeting. I'm Greg Monterosa. I am a startup community builder. I helped Cal Lutheran University bring an entrepreneurship center called Hub 101 to life in Westlake Village a few years ago. As the pandemic broke out, I made the mistake and I asked one of my mentors, what is the hardest type of business to scale during a pandemic? And she's like, a retail store. So I brought a retail store to life in Woodland Hills that's thriving. It's been a place for independent creatives. It's called Milk Room. And on a 9-to-5 basis, I work for the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, mentoring and helping founders and identifying startups around the world that can help us solve problems in Los Angeles. So super honored to be here. Put me to work. My sleeves stay rolled up.
Awesome, Greg. That's great. Yes, definitely want to keep in touch. And anyone and everyone who'd like us to keep in touch with you, go ahead and put your contact information in the chat if you'd like to do some more networking with everyone you see here as well. And Jessica Cruz, great to see you're here. Welcome.
Hi, yes, Jessica Cruz from Southland Regional Association of Realtors. I'm the communications manager for the association.
Terrific, Jessica. And Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda Eggleseder. I'm a community outreach manager for UCLA Health, and I'm supporting Burbank, Encino, North Hollywood areas. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome, Mandy. We're so glad you're here.
I think it's Mandy's first meeting, is that right? Is that
yes.
Claudia connected us a day or two ago and said Mandy was joining us. So welcome, especially.
Great. Let's see. And there's Claudia. Claudia, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Claudia Dunn Martinez with UCLA Health. I do community outreach and marketing for the North San Fernando Valley, as well as downtown LA, Simi Valley, and the Santa Clarita Valley. And I'm kind of introducing Mandy as well because she's new to our group and will be helping everyone in the rest of the valley and beyond. So we'll both be kind of partnering on the Valley Economic Alliance, and we're excited to do that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Really appreciate that. And Taya, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm Taya Kopp. I worked at Warner Brothers for 20-something years and then have pivoted into sustainability. So those two things combined, I just felt like this was an interesting space, a conversation to be. And so I'm really here as an interested citizen. So thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, welcome. We're really thrilled about the work of this committee and extending great communities in the Valley. And I give it back to Marianne to share with us a little bit our next item on our agenda, which is about housing.
All right. Well, thanks, Sonia. And welcome again to everyone. For those of you who are newer to our committee, just to give you a little context, a little history, we spent a good part of last year focusing on the issue of housing, since it is a critical need in the state of California. I think I saw this week yet again, there's a need for 3.5 million new units of housing in our state. And I think there's a regional housing needs assessment for Los Angeles County that's about 800 and some thousand units needed here. The city of LA is 435,000 units or something like that. So there's a critical need to do additional housing. So today I just want to report on a couple of bills that the governor signed recently that should encourage more housing development. Senate Bill 423 by Scott Wiener, or was sponsored by Scott Wiener, removes the sunset provisions of an earlier bill, SB 35, that was authorized to streamline the approval process for infill housing developments. So that will continue now indefinitely to make it easier for developers to get through the process, the preliminary process that they need to do to get permits and zoning and so on and so forth to get housing built. So that's encouragement. And then the other thing is, the other bill is Senate Bill 4 called the Church Lands Bill. And essentially what it does is allows churches, mosques, synagogues, and so on to use their land to develop affordable housing by right. So they don't have to go through a zoning process or whatever. They can just build housing on their property. So as an example, we happen to go to church in Pasadena, and we have a nice parking lot in a neighborhood that's about a block from the Metro Gold Line, in a neighborhood that's mostly rentals already. And so so our church in particular is really interested and happy that this particular provision has now been signed into law, so that in the future we can partner with a housing developer and develop some affordable housing on our land, and maybe put our parking lot underground so that we can have the housing above it. So just one example of what churches, mosques, synagogues might be able to do going forward, which would really help, because in some cities they're pretty landlocked and they need more land to build housing. There's a lot of churches and religious institutions that have considerable pieces of property that could be converted into housing development. So just a couple of updates on that. I think that's it for me. I don't know if there's any questions or comments about these bills or housing development in general.
Hi, Mary Ann, Tamala from Burbank City Council. Just a quick question. What was the bill about the church land use?
Yes, it's SB 4.
SB 4. Great.
So I think also sponsored by Scott Wiener. So
Okay.
yeah, that might be helpful in Burbank as well. Yeah. I think
great.
it also applies to some private colleges. It's the same. I think it's under the same same bill, but I think it's called the Church Lands Bill is kind of the informal name for that bill.
That could be something that the Alliance could really get behind and inform people about, and our different institutions in the Valley. So that's really great to know. And Jessica, I know our partner, SRAR, is our partner on Housing Creates Communities campaign to promote housing in the region. And is there anything that you wanted to share about what SRAR is currently working on, or anything that we can be supportive of, or anything like that?
Not currently at the moment. Right now, we are dealing with everything that, the general public is going through regarding affordability, and trying our best at least to keep our agents, our members, and the general public informed, and working with our members to better help individuals have accessibility to homes. But as we all know, it's gotten a little bleak living here, but I don't have anything else to report on that.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you're here, and we have the chance to know that things are humming along. No news is good news. We're just continuing to hammer away at the issues. And Fred, I don't know if you had anything to add with regard to housing or that development permit bill, and whether or not that might indeed be effective at improving the development process, or anything you're working on that you want to share with regard to housing.
Well, there are a number of new bills, although several of them extend bills that had been already passed. I do think that this SB4, which I think I just put the link into the chat to the actual bill language for those who want to see it, can be very helpful. There's a lot of property owned by religious institutions in the Los Angeles area, and certainly in the Valley. One of the interesting things is despite the state laws, these issues are still controversial. When the church down the street says, okay, we're going to build some affordable housing, and they do a multi-story building, basically a multi-story apartment building on their property. A lot of the church properties are in single-family neighborhoods, or in neighborhoods that don't have that type of development, and so there'll still be controversy, and there'll be neighborhood controversy. Cities may say, look, there's nothing we can do, the state is allowing this, but that has not stopped the controversies that have gone on. We've seen the big story in the city of LA the last month on this has been the mayor issued what was called ED1, Executive Directive 1, back when she started her term earlier this year, which expedited 100% affordable projects in the city of Los Angeles, and allowed them to avoid certain CEQA requirements, and also certain public hearing requirements. So there were a number of projects that came in, and at the time it did not specify where those projects would be. So a number of those projects came in single family neighborhoods, some of them right smack in the middle of single family neighborhoods. So all of a sudden, the city planning department approved several projects that were multi-story, up to 7-story buildings immediately next to single family homes. Well, there was some outrage about this. The mayor revised her ED1 to say that it's not going to include single family areas. But several of the projects said, well, but when we applied, that was the rule. And under another state law, you get to apply the rules that apply when you applied, when you're building housing of this type. And so there were the developers appealed the decision to stop their applications. So those appeals went to the city council recently. On one appeal, the city council person in the district, Nithya Raman, supported the project, and on an 8-5 vote, the council granted the appeal and said they get to build it because they applied during the period when that was the rule. Then, literally 1 week later, another project came forward to the city council in Bob Blumenfield's district. He was against the project, and the city council voted to grant the appeal, to deny the appeal and say, nope, the ED1 was changed and you have to apply by the new rules. So it's both of those projects generated significant neighborhood opposition. So even with these new rules, so we don't know what's going to happen with those two cases. There may end up being lawsuits. The city has now taken inconsistent decisions on two different cases that have very similar facts. In one case, the project was approved and the neighbors are threatening to sue. In the other case, the project was not allowed to go forward and the owners threatening to sue. So we'll see what happens. But the point of this is that even with these new laws in place, there's significant controversy and the potential for these kinds of issues to come up. So while I agree that I think the Alliance should be supportive generally of utilizing these properties for affordable housing, where especially when the religious institutions come forward with those projects, I do think we have to be careful about jumping into very contentious neighborhood disputes. Not that the Valley Economic Alliance is chicken, but it's just, we try to be sensitive to not, we try to be an alliance of everyone. And so when you take sides on these hot button issues, it can be, it can have other effects. So we'll have to have a careful strategy on this. And maybe this committee can, not maybe, my view is this committee should play a role in how we strategize and take part in these projects as they come forward. So anyway, it is something to think about, and I do think it'll be a big issue. I think there'll be many projects proposed under this new law.
Yeah, I think
I'm already working on one. I already got a call from a synagogue in. The bill was signed last week. I'm already literally hired by a synagogue in the West Valley to analyze what they could do on their property under this new law, how many units and blah, blah, blah. So I can't imagine I'm the only one. So I think it's coming.
And I think you bring up some really good points, Fred. And there are a certain number of churches, synagogues, and so on that are on major thoroughfares where there's a lot of commercial development and probably won't be too big of an issue. But I also think that there should be some sensitivity to single family neighborhoods, but there's so many empty retail properties now that could be converted to housing. And I think there's some provisions that are now being made to make that possible. So if we were going to promote something, maybe it's to be positive about it. Maybe it's really promoting the conversion of empty retail properties for housing development. Now, you know better than I the zoning considerations there, but at least there's that possibility. For a long time, people in the housing space or people that when housing would come up, they say, "Oh, we don't have any land. We don't have any land." Well, actually now we do. So why not use it? Something needed.
And these cases make very strange bedfellows. So there, on one of the cases that I just discussed from the city of LA, on three sides was single family neighborhood, but on the other side was the help group, which is a school, basically a school for children with disabilities, and they were also wildly against the project. I wouldn't have guessed that. But they were part of the opposition group. So these cases make very interesting bedfellows, and you'll undoubtedly be surprised in some of these controversies who's on what side and what they think. Which is again why we need to have a sort of a strategy and maybe some thoughts in advance as to when what we support and when we get involved and with good reasons to it, so that we can apply it fairly and equally and as we go forward.
What'd be nice would be to talk to people that do affordable housing well in the Valley and see what kind of support they need to keep doing what they're doing, or like, how do we help you acquire more property? So like I'm seeing here, we've got San Fernando Gardens Housing, Villas Las Americas, Mid-Celis, Sunland Park. So it'd be cool to like go into like a customer discovery mode, right? And like talk to these people running these organizations and seeing like, how can we help you grow?
Yeah, if the committee would like, one of my clients is Thomas Safran and Associates, which is, I'll say the premier, but certainly one of the premier affordable housing developers for decades here in Los Angeles. And if the committee wanted to hear from someone from there about these kinds of issues, because I think, Greg, it's a great idea, we could set it up for one of the future meetings.
Yeah, they're a very reputable company, and to your point, they've been around for a long time, and they probably had to deal with all the issues that you're talking about, Fred. So it would be interesting from their point of view how they've responded or worked with neighborhoods or whatever the issues were, how they've either backed away from certain projects or they've been able to successfully negotiate, concessions or whatever it is that the neighbors want. So it would be interesting. I think you're right. It'd be interesting to hear from them.
By the way, council member has her hand up. Did you have something to share?
Yeah, I really appreciate this discussion. So one of the things, to your point, Fred, about pushback is that even in our well-planned, thought out developments here in Burbank, we get pushback, even if it's either it doesn't have enough affordability or has too much affordability and it's not enough, and what do you call it? Benefits to living there. It's in the wrong space. It's too high. It's too big. So what I did notice though, is that we are struggling here in Burbank, and it's probably similar in other cities too, to find ways to increase our housing numbers without building these giant megaplexes of housing. And in our downtown area, the larger developments, even though we do get some pushback, is more kind of theoretical. But the ones that are near neighborhoods are like, you're disturbing where I live, right? And so what I've been trying to figure out, and I would love this group to, if we could possibly put our heads together about it, is how do we advocate and encourage our state laws, not only to make it easier to build these megaplexes, but to make it easier to build a smaller scale developments. So we have a number of commercial corridors, Burbank Boulevard, Victory Boulevard, Magnolia, Olive, Alameda, right? And a lot of smaller businesses that they're individual business buildings that really the community feels more appropriately would be smaller residential additions to those areas. So, each building adding 4 or 5 residential units rather than having an entire block be a giant mixed use building. And I went to a summit a few months ago offered by BizNow, which I highly recommend following BizNow because they offer a lot of housing and planning related either webinars or events to network. And I went to one that was specifically about affordable housing. And they had a number of folks there. And I did reach out to one of the developers that either takes these large scale high-end apartment buildings and converts them to affordable housing, or they find locations and build from the ground up. And he said, it's only doable if you have at least 100 units. Anything under 100 units, it's just getting the funding, having enough return on cost to be able to make it even break even. To be able, especially now with the high cost of getting loans is 8% at least, if not more, I think for some commercial, depending what you're doing. And then buying the property outright is also expensive, and the materials. So I don't know how, but since a lot of you are in this space, I think a lot of what we can look at to decrease the pushback, or at least look at ways of having more choice of how to build housing, is how can we look at ways to make it streamlined and financially feasible for folks who are either lower end investors or folks who own property who just want to make their property more, provide residents to have a little bit more of diversity of income, that they can make these smaller scale residences. And that's, I think, a huge challenge, because what it makes it feel like in the community is every single residential development just becomes a money grab. And you and I know it's not true, but it feels that way because in order to create these housing availabilities, they're taking what feels like a neighborhood, part of the community land and turning into a moneymaker. So I think that's a lot of it too. So just want to put that out there. Maybe it's something we could do as a regional group to really give communities and investors and developers and owners, landowners, and everybody more choice and more options to find the best fit for their community. And I've seen that in Burbank, and we would love more of that, but right now we really are hamstrung, and mostly we have to build the large scale housing in order to reach our RHNA numbers.
Fantastic. That's really great insights. Thank you so much for that. I think maybe given all that there is on the agenda, maybe we'd like to move on to energy, unless anyone has any other final comments they'd like to add on this particular topic of housing. What do you think, Marianne?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. Yeah, I think we've had a good discussion, lots of great ideas. I've taken some notes here, and Sonia and I'll follow up on these. So great. All right, well, we'll move on to energy and sustainability. Hilda, I think you had that presentation. And again, I'm going to apologize. I have to leave in a couple of minutes, but I'm glad to have you, Hilda. Take it away.
Thank you. I do not have a presentation actually, because I know that the meeting's not going to be that long for a presentation, but in terms of the Sepulveda Basin, we have, I believe that our committee is going to meet to brainstorm about the ways that we can make it more sustainable. One of the things that I would definitely suggest is doing urban reforestation to provide more energy in terms of, absorbing CO2s and providing shade and providing green spaces. So those are the things that I would like to have the committee consider when the time comes. But for now, that's all I have to contribute.
Great. So for background, for anyone who doesn't know, City of LA Bureau of Engineering is helming this redesign of the Sepulveda Basin. I'm putting in the chat now. There's a document, a vision plan for the Sepulveda Basin to really help preserve and enhance the vitality of this beautiful natural area with the Balboa Aquatic Center, a soccer field, LA Riverway. And one of the ideas that I think we as an alliance would probably love to bring forth is to encourage the city of LA to really incorporate economic development as they're building the environmental sustainability and preserving the sustainability of the area, and to look for creative ways to create an economy around that area. And so I put in the chat a link to the Bureau of Engineering's page on this. There are community meetings where people can weigh in. So we want to make sure that everyone takes advantage of that if you'd like to have something to say about that one. Any comments or questions about that? Okay, so I put in the chat the link to the vision plan. Now I'll put the community meetings so that folks can get more engaged and involved. And thank you, Hilda, so much for bringing that up. We're going to be putting together our energy and sustainability roadmap. Hilda and I are going to be getting together in the next couple of weeks to begin to draft that, to see what particular elements of a sustainability we can advance in the Valley to help businesses and residents operate in more sustainable ways. So I know we have Joshua who's on related to sustainability. Joshua, is there anything that you're working on that you'd like to share with the group real quick?
Yeah, we have a electromagnetic water treatment product called VODA that helps cooling towers save water, save on chemicals, save on energy, and it also kills bacteria in the system. So we've been able to help We have a little rebate through LADWP. We have another client out in Vegas that we're helping in 2024. We're starting to save water, but once we get in all of their skids, we'll be able to save them over 1 million gallons of water a year. That's what we're working on today.
Great, Josh. Appreciate that. And Sarah, you're with sustainability at CSUN as such a major institution in the Valley. We'd love to hear a little bit about what you're working on and what you recommend that our other, constituents in the Valley also should be working on. Anything to share at all?
Yes, absolutely. I can put the link in the chat, but we actually just finished our roadmap to sustainability. So it's a 10-year plan for the campus that aligns with what the city is doing and what the campus as a whole is doing. And we very intentionally made it electronic so that it's more accessible. And we also have a dashboard that goes along with it so that it's we're able to track the metrics of all the goals set in the roadmap and show progress over time. And that's all publicly available too. So I'll put those links in the chat. There are a lot of goals in there related to community partnerships and community engagement. And so happy to connect with folks more as you see a good fit. The other priority that I'm personally working on is connecting students to community organizations that are doing work that will provide hands-on training and learning for them. So I'm working with our Office of Community Engagement. We have internship programs, service learning. So there's a lot of different potential outlets for students to get connected with the community. And so I'm trying to put all of that in one place for CSUN. So if a student is interested in some type of experiential learning or research, they would go to this sustainability hub that we're creating, and then I can help plug them in to different opportunities within the community. So definitely I'm happy to chat more. The other thing I wanted to put out to the group is if you know of anybody that's a CSUN alumni that's, would say they're working in the field of sustainability, we are working on creating an alumni chapter so that we can connect current CSUN students with alumni who are working in the field so they can serve as mentors, and we can have them come back and, do presentations and things about their journey. So if you know of any CSUN alumni working in this space, please feel free to reach out as well. I'll put my contact info in the chat.
Fantastic, Sarah. Thank you for that. Taya, I know that the group, are you still involved with the not business for social responsibility, but conscious capitalism? Are you still involved with that group, and are they doing anything that we should know about with regard to sustainability in particular?
I am less involved right now, and I would not pertaining to what we're talking about right now, just in interest of your agenda. Thank you for asking, though. It's a little bit more on the health and wellness side, right? That the focus is right now.
Awesome. Okay, good. So we will keep that in mind. Greg, please share.
So at the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, what is currently working right now is our workforce development program. So what happens is these people are launching charging station companies, solar panel companies, but the lack of workforce is there. And so that's been really beneficial. So if anybody has young people that need something to do, like we just launched our newest program is focused on the EV charging station project management aspect of it. Something else that has been really beneficial too is providing like places for these companies to launch pilots, like validating their ideas on a campus or for an organization. So that's what a lot of these early stage clean tech startups need, is like access to places to launch pilots. So that's what's happening over at the LA Clean Tech Incubator. And Sarah, let's connect. I'd love to put your students to work.
That's great. There used to be a Lacey Connect at CSUN too, or a satellite or something. So this is great to do that kind of informally. Great. I didn't know you were with Lacey, Greg. That's wonderful. Well, good. A council member, please.
Yeah, we have a few updates here in Burbank I'm excited about. The first one is small but mighty, in my opinion. We are doing a pilot program at our Burbank BWP, Burbank Water and Power Eco Campus. If y'all haven't been to the Burbank Water and Power Eco Campus, it's pretty cool. It's a quietly awesome kind of testing ground for a lot of different things. And one of the new things they just installed is UC Riverside came up with a low water grass, and they're testing it at BWP to see if it's a feasible alternative to the kind of grass we use for lawns now, because we're looking ahead at incrementally reducing the amount of lawns people have because it uses potable water on residential. It's required on business land to use recycled water, but on residentials, it's almost always potable. But of course, people want their lawns. So this low water grass is being tested out, and it was developed at UCR, Riverside, alma mater. And then the second thing, which is exciting, we just learned on Tuesday night, is that the Burbank Airport Authority just announced that the new airport, for folks may not know, there's a new Burbank Airport being built. It's going to be north of the current airport, and it's going to break ground at a few months. The building of it take a few years to build, but the breaking ground should be in a couple months. And the plan just achieved silver LEED status certification, and there's a very good possibility it could reach gold. Unfortunately, it can't reach platinum because it's just of where it's located and how the restrictions of that particular area there's just a couple of things that just literally can't be done, and so platinum can't be achieved, but gold is very possible. So we're super excited about that. And what was the last one? Let's see, that one, and oh yes. So also last week at the Sustainability Commission meeting, we just heard a draft proposal for an upcoming plastics reduction ordinance for our city. And a lot of cities are working on plastic reduction ordinances or already passed it. And so that's not a huge announcement, but the cool announcement that I do have is that the version that we have, while it's not getting rid of every piece of plastic in our community, which would be my dream, but unfortunately you only do so much, is that as far as I know, this might be the first plastics reduction ordinance that our business community has signed off to. So I don't know if in any other cities a business community has been in support of an incoming plastics reduction ordinance. So our wonderful recycling center and our public works team has been working with our business community and the Chamber of Commerce and restaurants and folks who use plastics in their businesses, and have come up with a way to significantly reduce plastics in our business community while also the businesses being supportive of it. So that's really exciting of it. We're going to hear it in, I believe, the end of November is when it's going to come to council, and we'll then decide on, very likely, it's been in the works for a while, it's very likely it's going to pass. So super exciting that we got everybody on board collaborating to make this work rather than it being a fight, so super excited.
Tamara, I have a quick question. Is there a website? Is there any reference material I can look at?
The closest thing we have is the minutes for the Sustainability Commission, because the draft is still in the works. It's not being published yet. And the information we had wasn't the actual wording, but more like bullet points. So, but I can get you connected with the person who's working on that draft. And so she can give you the bullet points.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. That's exciting news. I think that's great. There was a question in the chat. That's what it is. Are public tours available of the Burbank Eco Campus?
Yeah, basically it's kind of informal, where if you set up a meeting with Dawn Lindell or one of her team, she's the director of BWP, part of their meeting can be the tour. So it's not like a formal tour, but they'll show you our e-fleet, they'll show you our solar panel, our water reclamation testing. We're testing a new battery for solar panels that's doesn't use the I forget what it's called, the metal or I forget what it's called, but it's a new kind of battery that's good for the environment.
Lithium, is that?
Yeah, it doesn't use lithium, it uses some other thing. So it's pretty cool. We also have some other electric and water-based testing over there. We have a whole like rooftop green space, and so it's pretty cool, but unless you're in it, you don't know. But she'll give you all the details and nerd out with you. I'll link her contact information for you.
That's great. And Josh, maybe you want to connect with her too, Dawn Lindell over there. I don't know. Maybe
Absolutely.
there's synergies with what you guys are
Absolutely.
working on. Okay. Lastly, on sustainability, just how we do work with 5 cities, Burbank leading the way on this work. There's LA, Calabasas, Glendale, and there's the city of San Fernando. And I'm going to put in the chat a press release from a recent announcement that city of San Fernando has. Senator Carolyn Menjivar one of the newest senators, she's secured $3 million in state funding for water infrastructure projects in the city of San Fernando. So I just popped a link in the chat for anyone who's interested in that, but we're really super proud of what the whole region is doing with regard to sustainability. And there's some really great things that are taking place. So with that, maybe we should move on to transportation, talk a little bit about that. Hilda, any other final comments on sustainability before we move on?
No, thank you for the opportunity, though. This is really exciting. A lot of things to look forward to.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your leadership coming in as a co-chair starting in January. Really excited about what we're going to do together.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. I did put the agenda in the chat for people to see, and there are lots of links on the agenda so that you can take a closer look at anything. So the first thing is the East San Fernando Valley Light Rail Project. So Metro, these are 3 projects that Metro's working on in the area now. And hopefully pretty soon, not in this committee, but in our Economic Development Committee, we're going to have some transportation experts come on and talk more about what they're seeing for this topic. But these are a couple of things that are happening in LA anyway, and we'll talk about what's happening in all 5 of our cities. So this link leads to this page that talks more about the East San Fernando Valley Light Rail project. This is close to home because it'll run right along Van Nuys Boulevard where we're located. We're right around here from the orange line, and then all the way up through some of these underserved communities, Panama City, Arleta, Pacoima, and then into the city of San Fernando. So this traverses 2 of our cities, as transportation is one of those topics that are really regional in nature, not just one city, so working together. So there's community input that can be had. It's a light rail project is projected to run down the center of the street. It will impact parking. It'll have various impacts, and Metro's working to mitigate those impacts. So now's the time to weigh in on that project. There's a Sepulveda Transit Corridor project connecting the valley to the west side, to West LA. So this is something that, if that interests you, definitely do make your voice heard about what's happening there. And then there are plans for a North San Fernando Valley Transit Corridor. I believe this is a bus line that will go along in the North Valley area here, going east-west. So that is what Metro has planned to enhance connectivity of the San Fernando Valley region. And just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Anyone have anything to share about what Metro's working on, or other transportation projects, or council member, what you're working on in Burbank around transportation?
Yeah, just a brief update about the BRT. So we have the BRT coming in Burbank between NoHo Station and PCC, Pasadena Community College. And we're going to be seeing that also by the end of the year in front of council. This council has not yet taken a look at that project. The last time our council looked at it was before the election last year. And so this is a new council, and we'll have to take another look. I have been a long time advocate for the BRT since its inception. And I'm a bus rider, Metro user. My kids are as well. I'm also a bike rider. So I'm always looking for more multi-modal ways. So that's coming along, and I'm excited about that. So keep an eye out that for the end of the year.
Great. Okay. And Dennis, please.
I hope I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Good. I've brought this up before, but there is a Metropolitan Transit Authority Public Transportation Service Council that serves the San Fernando Valley, along with 6 other regions of Los Angeles County. I'm a member representing our cities out here in the West, and Burbank has a member. It's Jess Talamontes. And there are members from Los Angeles and whatever, but we meet virtually monthly. And it would be a great thing, I think, to invite Dolores, who is the advisor for that council, to come and talk to this committee at some point in the future regarding all the things we just reviewed in some depth, because I think the consequences, as well as the opportunities for benefits from all the investment that MTA is making in the San Fernando Valley. It's going to be, I think, important for us to know from every angle, from transportation or mobility to housing, because they have housing programs that are transit oriented, and then there's money. So it might be worth our while to see what kind of economic development support we can get or collaborate with. So I would say on a future agenda of our committee here that we should have Dolores Ramos from the Metropolitan Transit Authority come and give us a briefing, and also connect us to the people that we already know. I mean, Jess is on the Burbank City Council, and I'm on the Planning Commission in Calabasas, and there's opportunities, I think, to make meaningful connections amongst the people as well as the resources we have there.
Great idea. Dennis, you're a wealth of great ideas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll do that. And Sarah has her hand up. Sarah.
Yes, just a couple updates from the CSUN side as well. I know the updates you shared were for Metro. We actually worked with MetroLink. They have a new student adventure pass. I'll put the link in the chat where college students can get a free MetroLink pass, and it's connects to all the Cal Polys, all the CSUs, all the local colleges, basically anywhere that MetroLink goes. And so we actually had Clean Air Day a couple weeks ago on campus, so they came out along as well as Metro and promoted the those free programs for students. The other event that I wanted to share with you all, which Sonia, I'll pass it on to you. We are actually having an informational hearing on campus next week with Assemblymember Pilar Shivo about electric vehicle charging infrastructure. And so we're doing like an open informational town hall. It's open to the community, and it's going to be at our conference center next Tuesday. So it's all about EV infrastructure for California. So I'll forward that, and you're all welcome to attend that as well.
Fantastic, thank you. Yes, and whenever there are events or programs happening, feel free to share with me, and I'll share it out with the committee or our broader network or through our newsletters, whatever would be most appropriate. Okay, fantastic. So if anyone has anything else to share about transportation, I did put that Burbank line in the chat also, so everyone can take a look at that. And yes, we're ready for the next item on our agenda. So next on the agenda, just looking at what makes communities livable. We're focusing on housing for the most part, and sustainability. We're also trying to do some work there. Transportation and healthcare is another important area. And we do have some members of our committee who are involved in healthcare. If they're still on here, yes, Claudia is still with us and Mandy are still with us. So I think it's really important for us to just hold a space on our agenda to talk about healthcare and see if there's anything that we should be aware of or talking about, or anything on our radar. I did notice that BizFed, one of our business partners, has really gotten behind this historic mental health transformation ballot that seems to be moving forward. And the idea is to modernize the state's mental health system. It's a $6+ billion bond, which will some of that funding will be devoted to building mental health facilities. Some of the funding will also go toward building the mental health workforce, which I thought was interesting and is evidently novel for these bond measures to consider the importance of workforce and the work that needs to be done there to really build it, as was said earlier, and something that the Alliance is very much interested in and a part of too. So I just wanted to put that on in our minds and see if anyone had anything that they wanted to share about that, and also give Mandy and Claudia the opportunity to say what they're working on. So just to start, has anyone been hearing anything about that bond measure, or have any perspectives about that the group should know about? Okay, so then I'm happy I put that in the chat so that you can get more informed with that, and we'll be sharing out information as we get it from BizFed about that. And Claudia, Mandy, what's happening with you all at UCLA Health? Anything you want to put on our radar?
Just that because Mandy and I are involved in community outreach and marketing, and connecting and being viable component of the footprint that is Southern California, Ventura County. We're all the way up to Santa Barbara even. And just being a viable partner with all of our clinics and with all of our community resources that are out there. If anyone needs us for something in terms of sponsoring a local event or being a participant or helping out, we're happy to do that. If we can, we'll take it. We will evaluate that. When it comes to legislation and bills that are in the process, if the Valley Economic Alliance would like us to provide a position paper, I can get it to the right people, and we've done that before, Sonia. And so I know that there's occasions where you do want us to back up a position paper, and we're happy to do that, but I have to get it to the right people. I'm not, Mandy and I aren't the ones to do it, but we're happy to facilitate those things. And I guess that's about it. We're just available and happy to answer any questions, partner with anyone who needs our help. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Well, we're grateful to have you in our network and appreciate your support. And I think that was a great report for anyone who has a project that might be eligible for funding. That's really good to know. I think that it would be helpful, maybe Claudia, Mandy, or some of our other healthcare partners might consider becoming our point person on healthcare, the way Marianne is our point person on housing, and then we have a point person on we have Hilda on sustainability now. It'd be good to have healthcare have a point person to come and bring whatever updates and make reports and things like that. So something to consider. We're looking for that, and for transportation as well. So with that, I think I want to move to announcements, and I want to give folks the opportunity, if you hopped on the call after we did our introductions, maybe now's a good time for you to introduce yourself, say what you're working on, anything like that. Welcome, Janity. How are you?
Hello. Yes, hello. My name is Gennady Katz, and Sonia, thank you again for inviting me. You know, I haven't seen you already for like a year or so, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So my role is I'm a founder of a local startup here in Los Angeles. And the name of our company is Fit for Bucks. So what we've done, we developed and launched an app. It's an iOS app that connects local communities of businesses and users. And the idea of this app is to promote health and wellness of our communities by providing app users rewards for exercising. So, like, for example, if a person download this app, they can walk 25,000 steps, they can get a coffee from a local coffee shop. Or for 30,000 steps, they can get from a farmer market some blueberries, right? So our goal is to develop that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's our company. So the way we help businesses is we're promoting their healthy products to our users. And we're helping users to discover businesses, discover farmers markets. Since I was participating in the school last time, we explained it into farmers markets. So now every vendor has a place in our app, and our users can come to the vendors and get rewards for staying active. So it helps businesses and it helps our communities to be healthy.
Thank you so much. We're so glad you're here. It's a great program. I put the link in the chat, and glad you're here. It was perfect to talk under healthcare. And Madam Townsend, hello. Are you here? Would you like to say a few words on what you're working on?
Hi, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure always to see you, Sonia. I tell you, you're just a busy bee here in the Valley. Just excited to always hear about the wonderful things. As I say always to you, Bruce Ackerman was one of the first to ever welcome the Regional Cal Black Chamber into the Valley. Now, 23 years later, we're still strong. And just good to always be a part of what the Valley is all about, and certainly you guys are at the forefront of that. So we're here always, no matter what. You know, we're a partner, so reach out to us for any reason whatsoever. Just one announcement: we'd love to invite. I think I put it in the chat. You know, we're having our 19th annual Small Business Gala Awards Dinner of Recognition. This year, we've got some amazing folks, of course. But the most important stars are our U.S. veterans. So Many of us have vets or no vets. If you love to support them, so please follow up with the link. The Chamber's website has all the intel on it as well. But it's good to see everyone this morning. And again, keep up the great work, Sonia.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate the Regional Black Chamber as a wonderful partner, and love the work that you're doing too. Let us know how we can support. So thanks for making those announcements.
Absolutely.
In the last couple of minutes that we have, I just wanted to call your attention on the agenda to SURF. If you haven't heard, there is this entity called the Community Economic Resilience Fund, or SURF Los Angeles. The LA Economic Development Corporation has been granted about $5 million from the state to do planning for, I think, what's a greater $60 million fund over the next several years. And so I put some links here where you can learn more. You can sign up as a partner on SURF. You can email me if you want to be a part of the Valley's grant application that will be going in next year. So let me just show you where these links lead one by one. So when you go to learn about SURF, you'll see that it's all about empowering economic resilience. And already they have 400 partners that they've been working on. Now, partners can be companies, nonprofits, it could be individuals too. So if you're working on a project that will advance inclusive economic development, particularly related to green jobs, I think that's the focus that they're focusing on green jobs. It's very workforce development kind of centric, and looking at how can we build an equitable region here of LA County. And so for our part, the way that you can sign up to be a partner is through that second link, and they've got this form here where you can sign up as a stakeholder. And then again, I was saying you can email me, because as the Alliance's effort toward this particular SURF, we're going to be applying for our Tech Talent Connect. So we're working on a workforce development pipeline to really to gauge the interest of our employers and the needs of our employers, to see what skill sets they need. We're connecting them with our community college and university representatives to be able to see what curricula is available to help train graduates who meet those needs. And then we're working with our social service providers to make sure that low to moderate income youth and adults are in the pipeline, get into the training, and then can be placed in positions that are waiting for them at the end of the training. So, email me if you have a program that seems like it would be appropriate to be a part of a pipeline like this. There's my email address. And with that, I just wanted to let everybody also know a couple more announcements. So the Alliance is also convening our annual meeting of our board. Is a great time. What did I just do? Did I just do something? Yeah, you can see the agenda. The annual meeting of our board, December 14th at Woodbury University in Burbank, is going to be a great time to meet our board, meet elected officials, see what all of our 5 cities have been doing over this past year and the Alliance, and be a part of it. So I encourage you, it's completely free. Breakfast is served. Come to that December 14th meeting. We also have a couple of save the dates for you, our January regional summit at CSUN and our Valley of the Stars Gala at the Castaway, also in Burbank. We're doing a lot in Burbank, which is great. So definitely, let us know if you know of any potential sponsors for those events. Thank you to all of you who already have agreed to sponsor, and we hope that you will participate and buy a ticket. And Dennis, maybe you'll have our last word. What did you want to share, please?
Okay. Just quickly, many of the topics today might be supplemented by making contact with the Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains, because I think I've mentioned in the past that the extension essentially of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area to a so-called rim of the valley parklands. It's literally everything circling the whole valley. But Clark Stevens or somebody from the RCD would be a good person to come and talk and help address a number of the things from Sepulveda Basin and the projects that are there to the public, I guess the resource conservation kinds of projects. There's also a federal agency connected, and it's called the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and they have engineering and funding capability for projects like were described today in the Sepulveda Basin. And that agency actually has a very long history with Sepulveda Basin itself, Pierce College, and most of the Santa Monica Mountains as well. So let's talk about that on a future agenda, perhaps.
Yes, thank you. Sounds like we've got three great speakers for subsequent learning and discussion. Our next meeting will be January 18th, 2024, if you can believe that, at 10 a.m. And I thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.